Closing is always easy when you're in Cardone U. We role play with Grant Cardone's team. They know just what to do. They're always there to support us. We couldn't ask for more. On our way in the right direction, we found what we're looking for. In FLC, in FLC. Closing is better with appointment setters. You'd better believe we're not a team but a family. We work together in harmony. We are devoted, on that you can quote me, in FLC.
Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of the FLC Hangout, where your freedom lifestyle begins. We are so excited to be back for another Sunday of fabulousness. We are so excited to keep sharing our knowledge with you. Real quick, before I get into it, please like this video, subscribe down below. It really helps us out. So thank you so much for that. Also, before I get into it, make sure you're following us on Instagram. They're on the screens now and in the descriptions below. All that being said, today we're talking all things getting shit done. Who doesn't like that? Who doesn't like getting shit done? Being productive, actually doing the things you said you're going to do, opening up space for more things to come in, and really just how do you make the most of your hours, your weeks, your months, and your life. So what kind of sparked this idea for us is we had a coaching call with our coach, our FLC coach that we meet with every Wednesday. Big shout out to Coach David. Yeah. And he was talking to us about closing cycles. And we've talked about this, right, Misty? We've talked about this before in the Hangout. But I feel like you can never talk about it enough because it's so important. And what he said is, he gave an example in his own life, but really, if you leave cycles open, it limits your ability to make decisions in other areas of your life or make progress in other areas of your life, because you actually haven't finished something in this area, and that's going to affect your energy, your decision-making skills. So I really want to talk about that because I feel like we're all in business here. We're all trying to better ourselves on this podcast, whether you're on it, listening, or watching. So, and this is a really big subject around this. So, Misty, handing the mic over to you. What's your hot take on this?
Well, the hot take I get is a big handprint right on my side of my face. It's like, bam. It's basically, it was an eye opener because I have a tendency to do this. Like, I have things unfinished everywhere. And it really bothers me, which is weird because I don't like things unfinished. If I go to a client's house, I will leave everything finished. I cannot leave the house until everything's done and I feel like it's finished. But when it comes to my own life and my own business and my own house, I leave things unfinished. Especially in my house. I just kind of, so closing out those cycles, and I think is so important. And when he, like you said, he had said that when you have things unfinished and you don't close out old cycles, that really affects your mindset and what you're doing and, moving forward. That really hit home for me. That was an eye opener. It's like, okay, so now let me reevaluate everything that I have unfinished in my house. How is that affecting everything else I'm doing? Because that means I want to close out those cycles. I can't move forward and be stronger and better if I don't close out those cycles. And I think all of us have those little things that we forget about or just kind of keep putting off here and there. And I think it's, to me, I think it's really important to close those out.
Yeah. So we join also these daily trainings called sales rallies as a sales team. And it was a while ago, many months ago, I think it was Steve Spray was talking about how he just kept having a bad day, a bad week, and something like the cold calls weren't happening, the sales were falling through, and he's like, what is going on? And he realized at home he wasn't washing the dishes after himself. It was a fork in the sink that he wasn't washing up. And that is so tiny, but it takes up space. It takes energy. It takes space in your mind, your like the physical, like things aren't completed around you. And then once he started to make an effort of actually washing the dishes straight away, putting them away, this small little thing, and suddenly his sales went up again. The cold calls were happening. And I feel like for me, when I first started hearing about this like closing cycles thing, I was like, is it real? Like, surely it was not going to affect your day-to-day life. Like a fork in the sink, what's that going to do? But the more I heard about it, the more I'm like, well, it does subconsciously. Even if you don't remember, you haven't finished your dishes. I'm just using this example. It could be laundry, it could be calling that person you need to call, but you haven't, whatever. It takes up space, even subconsciously. You think you know that you haven't completed that. And something else I want to say as well is it helps with your confidence closing cycles. It's not just like, oh, this woo woo, like complete this task and things open up for you. Like, yes, but it increases your confidence that you can actually get things done. Saying this though, I know I'm preaching this and I really wholeheartedly believe in it. I I'm not very good at closing cycles. I go through phases. I go through phases and I just leave all these cycles open. And then I start having like an off week, an off month where I'm like, what am I doing? And then I realize I've left all these things undone. So it is difficult. But just start doing it. Make a list of things you have to do. Go through that list and complete it. It's like the $1 million day that Seb was talking about earlier, the other day.
Yeah. I don't remember him talking about it. I must not have been there that time.
I think it was on DCA actually, so yeah.
Yeah.
But
I don't know.
basically,
I think
it's writing.
I think I've heard him talk about it before, but I don't remember. So
It's basically what it is writing up a list of the things you should be doing, you should get done, but you haven't yet. And just take a day, take an hour, go through that list, complete as many as you can. And it makes a huge, huge difference to your mental state.
yeah, it's amazing how something so small in one area you think is so insignificant can make a huge difference in everything else.
Yeah.
It always surprises me when you're like how you said, Steve had said he had just left a dirty fork in the sink and that threw off everything else. It's like, that is so amazing to me. So I notice I do that too. And then not just leave a dirty fork in the sink, but every once in a while I'll be going through life and then all of a sudden I'll realize, oh, I didn't finish this. Let me go finish that. And then everything else starts falling into place. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. And I feel like it sounds really woo-woo. Especially when I first started hearing about it, I thought it was like, oh, this nice idea. It was an idea that like closing the cycles, but it's so real, and we've both seen it in our own life. So anyone watching, I bet you there is something right now that you should do, you should get finished, you should complete, and you haven't. So watch this video first, complete this video, complete this cycle, and then go do it. And then see how much lighter you feel. Because you do feel lighter. It's like, oh, a weight off my shoulders. I used to actually dedicate 20 minutes in the morning to just closing cycles, whether it was doing laundry or washing dishes. And I don't know why I stopped, because it really set me up for the day. I think that should be
Maybe
part
you
of
finished all your cycles. Just kidding.
Yeah, no, literally.
You closed them all up and now you're done. Yeah, I think
what?
that's awesome. I actually think that's a really good idea. I would like to start doing that. However, I probably won't do it in the morning. I'll have to do it in the afternoon. Like when I get home from work, I'll probably start doing something like that, because I really like that. I like that. And you said it so you took only 20 minutes. It doesn't have to take all day long either. Depending
No.
on your project, you can get it done in 20 minutes or less.
Hmm.
So, yeah, that's a really good idea. I like that.
Yeah. I'm such a, and I'm working on this. I know I've talked about this with you, especially a lot. I'm an all or nothing person, which is bad. I mean, it can be good, but really it's more of a disadvantage, I think, in my life because I won't start something unless I think like it's the perfect condition to do it. It's like I can't do the dishes until I do this, or I can't call this person until I do this. Yes, you can. Like, what? Yes, you can. So I it's a mindset too. It's discipline. It is discipline. It comes down to that discipline, motivation thing that we talk about all the time. Um, but I think it makes a huge difference, and I don't know if everyone is aware of this. So wanted to bring a light to the situation. I saw
Yeah.
you laugh.
I was laughing because I told you about the text I sent Seb, and Seb is sent messaging back, and I got distracted.
Oh,
Not always a good thing, but I actually like that you are that way where um, you won't start something unless you can finish it and you have the perfect conditions. I actually kind of like that because it um, you actually do a lot of things that I would like to model. Each one a person in the core family has certain traits that I would like to model.
mhm.
Um, and I think the way you because to me I could be completely wrong, but what I see from you is you are very organized in how you set up your days and how you do things, and I love that. I think that's because I'm not disciplined at all. I was when I was younger, before I had gotten married, I was like, yeah, I would like plan things out and get it all done and be more organized. And then the person I had married was very spontaneous, that anything I had planned out, he always just, we're not doing that, always went out the window. So it had gotten to where I couldn't plan things out. And then being with him for so long, I kind of lost that. So I
Mhm.
need to get back into stuff like that. I think that's awesome. And like you and Mel is very disciplined too. And then we were talking about how I say Akishiti's name wrong, but she has a lot I admire in her too. And like I said, all of you guys do. But yeah, I think it's like I said, I think everybody has cycles that they don't close out, and we may not even see it as a cycle. And we may think of it as something small and insignificant, but then to sit there and think about everything that it's affecting makes a big difference. And I like the fact that we can take notice of that, recognize that, and start thinking, okay, how can I close out these cycles? What do I need to do to close them out? And then know that that's going to build your confidence and change everything, every other aspect of your life. It's so weird how things are interconnected. I mean, it's really weird how one little thing is connected to everything else. That's
Yeah.
like when you get sick or something, and say like you have a hurt muscle someplace in your body, and you go to have a massage. They can massage one place, and it's not even in the area that hurts, and that will cure that area. So this is
Mhm.
kind of the same thing, and
Yeah.
I think it's awesome. I like
That's so
this topic.
true. Yeah, no, me too. I get it, like it makes me excited. That's really true what you just said. I've had like a shoulder injury for ages. It's a little bit better now, it's still, but it's always hurting here. And then when I went to the physio, she told me to like work out this muscle down here, and it actually like made this better. So just like that's why I was like smiling when you were saying that. With the organized thing, it's funny actually. You should say that. Oh, it's actually nice to hear you say that. So thank you because I I am, but I'm not. I organize everything. Do I stick to it all the time? That's another story. But this and that reminded me a couple months, or not a couple, like a year ago maybe. I was just in this constant routine of not closing cycles, not closing, not doing this, not doing this. And it got to the point where if I told myself that I would go do something, like, oh, on this day I'm going to do this, or I'm going to complete this task today, I'm going to do this, I wouldn't even believe myself. Like I wouldn't fully believe that I would actually do it because I knew myself. I'm going to procrastinate and I'm going to not end up doing it. And then that really affects everything else you do. So for me, the most important thing about closing cycles is the confidence it builds. And actually doing the shit you say you're gonna do.
You're right. Just get shit done. I like how you pointed out that even though you do your whole planning out and organize everything, but then you know that you're going to procrastinate on something. Because I do that a lot. It's like, I know I'm not going to do this.
Yeah.
And then by default, I've already talked myself out of it, so I don't do it.
Yeah.
And that's what I do. So it's like, that's what I keep bringing up, being aware and knowing that you're doing something so you can change that. Make yourself accountable. Like, okay, no, wait a minute. I don't want to, that's the whole mindset thing, right? Where you have to sit there and think, be aware of what you're thinking. I've noticed that a lot more with people, and I think I notice it more because it's something I'm noticing in me and I'm trying to work on changing, is when somebody says they want to do something and they're like, but I know I'm not going to do that. They've already talked themselves out of it. So it's that being aware of what you're thinking, the effect it's going to have, and really changing that way of thinking to be more productive for you, more beneficial, right?
Yeah, definitely. Do you know what? I don't know why you just reminded me of this. Still on the subject of closing cycles, but it's like if you tell yourself, oh, I'm going to do this, or you give yourself a task to complete, and you either, if you actually do think you're going to do it and then you don't do it, or you don't really believe you're going to do it when you're writing it down or whatever. It's funny that we're so easy to flake on ourselves, not do something that we taught ourselves that we need to do or should do. But if it was someone else, like if someone else in the team needed a task doing, or Chabaria came to me, hey, can you complete this by this time? Yeah, I will do anything I can to complete that task within that time. But if it's me, why am I so easy to flake on myself? And I feel like everyone, it's that self discipline, and it interlocks with discipline as self-love. Like, you don't respect yourself enough to, why do you respect someone else enough to complete their task but not yourself? So I think it comes down also to discipline and self-respect as well.
Yeah, I like that you pointed that out because it is true. We will finish, like I said, if I go to a client's house, I will make sure everything is done before I leave that house. I don't care if I have to stay a few minutes after, I will make sure everything is finished. That when I leave that place, that person is fully taken care of, their house is fully taken care of, nothing is left undone. But when it comes to my own stuff, I'm like, yeah, well, I'll get to it eventually. And that's just not, it's just not the way we need to be because it affects everything else.
Yeah. We become comfortable, like with ourselves. Yeah, it's that whole thing of you can do the things you set yourself out to do. You can do this many things in a day, close this many cycles. You can get things done straight away if you actually want to. So you just need to want to enough. Because
see the value.
Yeah, exactly. When I was in that habit of closing cycles in the morning and then having my day free, and not thinking, oh, at lunchtime I should really wash those dishes from last night. It sets me up so much better for the day, and I get so much more done. I'm like, I go to bed that day, I'm like, I can do that much in a day. Whoa. And it's all because I closed cycles. I get
Yeah.
passionate.
Yeah. And I like how you said before that when you close out your cycles, you feel lighter. Like when I go to cook in my kitchen, I will clean the kitchen before I cook because I like to cook in a clean kitchen, right? It's just sanitary. You want to do that. But I've had people look at me when I'm cooking. What are you doing? I'm doing the dishes. So while I'm cooking, I'm cleaning as well. And that just makes me feel lighter and easier. Like I'm getting more done. I'm getting more, like, why am I just going to stand here in front of the stove? If I don't have to stir anything for a few minutes, I might as well be productive and get a couple cycles done, right? If I'm done with these dishes and I'm not going to dirty them again, why not go ahead and clean them? And then I can still, some people say that's multitasking, but you really can't multitask. But it's just kind of using your time a little bit more wisely and helping finish up those. Because what I'll do is after I'm done cooking, what I used to do is after I was done cooking, I would go right away and wash the dishes and then go eat. And my ex was like, no, don't, just come and eat first and we'll do those tomorrow. And that's where the bad habits come in. But go ahead.
Sorry, oh, you're back. Your picture froze for a bit, but I still heard everything you said. I was laughing because you're like my dad, and in this case, I'm like your ex because I will leave it for as long as I can before doing the dishes. And my dad's like, give me that plate while we're cooking. I'm like, oh my God, calm down. But like, I wish I was more like that. So that's why I was laughing.
Yeah. Well, because the thing is when I'm done cooking and I'm going to sit down and eat, I just want to rest the rest of the night, right? Or especially if it's at night, I just want to sit down and rest. I don't want to do, if it's during like a lunch or breakfast or something, then okay, we'll just keep going. But if it's in the evening after dinner, I don't want to do more dishes than I have to.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to stand there for half an hour to an hour doing dishes and cleaning the kitchen. I'd rather have it all done or clean as you go. Then there's less to do.
Yeah, exactly. It's my dad's tried to drill that into me my whole life, and I'm still working on it. If you think of something you need to do it straight away. Because you're not going to do it later. And that's something he's told me my whole life, and I'm always like, yeah, whatever. But I know it's true. I'm working on it. I'm working on it. Okay, Dad, if you're watching, I'm working on it.
So I have a question for you. I don't know if you guys do it over there in the UK. Sorry. But here, when somebody wants to do something, depending on the culture that they're from, right? But here, sorry, most Americans, they will, when they want to do something, they sit there and their first thought is, oh, that's too much work. I don't want to do it. Or we'll do it later, right? And it's something that they need to get done right away. Oh, we'll do it later. It's going to take forever. And I just look at them like, it's literally a 5-minute job and you can have that cycle done. Let's just do it.
Yeah.
Like I need to go in and clean my client's room, right? I need to go in and clean his bedroom. And he's like, oh, that's going to take all day. Hour tops, half an hour, hour tops. It's not going to take all day.
Yeah.
He was looking at me one day. I went in. Sorry, I'll let you talk here in a second. I went in one day and he sat there and he's looking at me. He's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm just going to pick these up and do this. And this is what I'm doing. And he goes, oh my God, I can see my floor. I'm like, see, it doesn't take all day either.
Yeah. It's so true. And that's a big goal of mine this year that I've thought of. I don't know if I've ever said this out loud, but to get better at closing cycles. And just because I'm the same, I'll think of a task that needs to be done, and it would probably take me 2 minutes, 5 minutes, even 10 minutes. but I will push it off for as long as I can, being so honest.
I do the
But
same thing.
yeah, but saying that, and the reason I'm being honest with anyone watching or listening is because when I actually do it, I get in a really good momentum. And I'll do it for a day and then I'll feel really good. So I'll want to do it the next day. And then suddenly, if I think of a task that needs doing, I'll do it and I feel really good. But then it's easy to slip out of that habit too. Um, so yeah, yeah, that's my goal this year.
Yeah. It is I think it's something everybody can work on. I definitely want to get better at closing out more cycles, because what I keep thinking about when I walk around my place, because I know there's a ton of cycles I need to close out. But what I keep thinking about is, like, I'm notorious for, I will go in spurts where, like, certain times where I will get out right out of bed and immediately make my bed so it's completely made and clean. And then there'll be times I won't do it at all. But I keep thinking, because I heard once that somebody had said, multimillionaires will always have their bed made and their houses clean.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not because they pay somebody to come in and do it for them. It's because they've learned how to close out those cycles, which opened up more opportunity for that growth and that, what do you call it? Wealth to come in, abundance to come in. So that's my thought process all the time now. It's like, if I want to be a multimillionaire, I've got to close out my cycles, make sure my bed's made, make sure all my dishes are clean and put away. So I keep thinking that, and that's kind of driving me to, like, close out more cycles and keep on top of things more. I think it's kind of changing that mindset. So yeah.
It's so important. And I know that we've just spent, what, 25 minutes talking about closing cycles, but it really, it reflects in every area of your life. And it really does make you feel so much better. And the days or when I get into that habit of actually doing it, I have like the best days mentally, but also it reflects in the work I do every day as well. Just because I washed those dishes. Like, it's that simple. So yeah, this is a really important subject that deserves half an hour podcast.
Right? It's like, because if you think about it, I know we're going to wrap up here in just a couple seconds, but I keep thinking, we make things so difficult and think we make them really difficult. We talk ourselves out of it, or we think it's going to take a really long time to get things done, right? And it really doesn't. It's really quick. It takes maybe a couple seconds, maybe a minute, 2 minutes. And so we have to quit doing that and start rethinking, okay, it only take a couple minutes. I'll go ahead and do it, get it done. Then I don't have to worry about it. And it's a weight lifted off my shoulders. So Josie, is there anything else you would like to say as we go wrapping up here? Anything else you want to tell people?
I think just from my personal experience, because I know that this really worked for me, and the days that I did this, I had the better days than when I didn't. Schedule out 10, 15, 20 minutes each morning before you start working or doing whatever you need to do that day to close cycles, whether it's laundry, dishes, texting someone that you've been putting off texting or calling, or making that appointment. Whatever it is, maybe write it down the night before or whatever. Schedule out a little bit of time each morning in your routine to get this shit done. And I promise you, it will have a domino effect way bigger than you might think.
Yeah, definitely. So let's do this, guys. Let's this year, because we're still early on in 2024. We're not setting New Year's resolutions. Those obviously don't really work, right? We're setting goals. We're going to smash those goals. We're going to have big dreams, and we're going to accomplish everything, right? Live out our dreams. So, as that being said, we're going to schedule out time, like Josie said, to close out old cycles. We're going to be disciplining ourselves more, watching our self-talk and self-thoughts, and changing that mindset. We'll do it together, you guys and us. We're family, so we're here to support each other, right? You need anything, just let us know. Comment in the chat, in the comments. We're here. So comment it. We're here for you guys. You know, we're family. It's like we say. And once you're in FLC, you're family and you're family for life. You just can't get rid of us. So you guys keep learning, keep growing, work on your goals. You can do this. You deserve a life that's free. And we're here for that. We're here to help you get there. So if you have questions, suggestions, comments, like I said, put them in the comment section. And we'll see you guys next week on another episode where we're going to have more powerful information. And be sure to like, subscribe, share, because we want as many people as possible to reach the freedom lifestyle. So with that being said, see you guys next week. Bye. That's one way to do it. There you go.